What is going on, everybody? This is KJ, and I am here for my TBA Week 5 Team Builder. Uh, just wanted to give sort of a heads up before I jump into the team. We did make some transactions for the team, used all 5 red transactions. We dropped Tapu Fini, Mega Ampharos, Regirock, Rapidash, and unfortunately Heracross. However, got some pretty good mons in uh, Como, Mega Bennett, Politoed, Kabutops, and Togedemaru. So the idea here was just that, like, wasn't comfortable with the team. Tapu Fini was a huge liability in my opinion. Just like it limited Mega Ampharos's dragon moves, and there wasn't too much that Misty Terrain really did for the team support wise. I mean, it's nice to not have to worry about toxics or anything of that nature, but that's sort of a double-edged sword. Um, and yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun playing with Tapu Fini in doubles, but in singles, Tapu Fini is just, I don't think it's like, well, especially with this team composition, I just wasn't super comfortable with it. I think I kind of expected too much from it, so yeah, we're going with the new squad. Got like a pseudo rain team and whatnot, so should be fun. We'll see what happens. So this week we were playing. His Discord name now is Strawberry Milk, but he previously went by Big Poppy, I believe. So just kind of go into his team really quick. So he's got Lele, Gliscor, Magnezone, Slowking, Mesprit, Dodrio, Mega Sceptile, Infernape, Diggersby, Greninja, and Armaldo. So very good team. He's currently 3-1, got a +6. And he's on a 3-game winning streak as well. This team is scary. Tapu Lele is a huge problem. All right, so let's jump into the team. So immediately going into Star Student here. And yeah, I'm starting a nickname in this league just because we like our team and kind of going from there. So yeah, we got Star Student, rocking Choice Scarf, Jirachi, Serene Grace. We got U-turn to pivot out of a potential magnet pull, and just general pivoting as well. We have the Thunderbolt, Psychic, Flash Cannon, so just coverage. Want to be able to hit Tapu Lele, want to be able to hit things like Infernape when they switch in, Greninja, Slowking. So yeah, and I mean, we have enough speed to outspeed the Scarf Lele at max speed, so that I'm feeling good about Jirachi here. The next mon we got here is the Porygon 2. So repping Billy Madison here. For any of you that haven't seen the movie, there's a scene where he's like talking to the teacher about a blue duck. So figured that would be a good nickname for this. So yeah, so this is EV'd to live at least one close combat from Scarf, Scarf Infernape. If he is jolly, then it's a roll for 2. If he's not, then it is a little. It's definitely a 2-hit KO if he's adamant. So we'll see. But the idea here is we're analytics, so we're gonna be slower. The Shadow Balls and Psychics and Ice Beams are hopefully going to be doing big damage because we get the 1.3 boost. And we got the Eviolite. That's pretty standard Porygon. So, and I'm hoping I can like maybe bluff a Thunderbolt on like a Greninja or something. He U-turns and then we completely wreck something like Infernape because we get the chip, and then if he goes for like a Flare Blitz or something like that, then we can. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Porygon is going to be definitely a key part early game in this team, especially. So, all right. Next, we got again some of the new mon. So I'll go here first. So we got Captain Ginyu. Shout out to all those DBZ fans out there. And Captain Ginyu is the Politoed with the eject button. So the eject button's interesting because the idea here is that we can switch it in on something that's trying to pivot out into like U-turn that is choiced, and that immediately, especially if it's a U-turner, so that immediately puts gives us the ability to switch out. So we switch into, say, or not even say, we switch into, at that point, Kabutops, and then we have rain turns, and we can optimize the rain turns because we don't have to like hard switch or wait for Porygon to go down, and then we're in a situation where if he's locked into U-turn, we can set up, and so that leads me to the next mon, which is Offshore Drilling, Kabutops. If Kabutops can get set up with the Swords Dance, Life Orb Swords Dance Liquidation hits most of his team hard. The rest of them that it doesn't, Leech Life hits incredibly hard. We have Aqua Jet just in case he doesn't bring Lele, or if Psychic Terrain's not up, and we need to outspeed those Mach Punches or Vacuum Waves from Infernape in the rain, then we can do that. So, yeah. Really interested in just using, I mean, Politoed's a mon I've used in the past in VGC, not so much in singles, but Politoed has a very interesting moveset. There's some cool things you can do with it, so I'm really excited about that. And Kabutops is nice because it actually can function outside of rain. So Kabutops has both weak armor and battle armor. So weak armor and battle armor are both interesting. Just being able to like raise your speed by 2, or being able to not be crit, just gives viability for a mon that's already, I mean, physically bulky, and I mean, you can work with the special defense. The HP stat leaves more to be desired, but all in all, you can work with it. It's not bad. It's not going to function as your standard bulky water, but it's got some bulk to it, and it's a rapid spinner. So with the rapid spin nerf, like, it does get better with that. So that's exciting. But yeah, so Kabutops and Politoed, and just to go back to Politoed for a sec, we got Seismic Toss, Toxic, Scald Ice Beam. So it's literally just there for coverage and just to kind of make things a little annoying. And we're max special defense, so we can take some hits from, or take a hit from Magnezone, depending on the set, as well as a Thunderbolt from Lele. So yeah, next mon, got another new mon, got Como, Ugly But Proud. The shiny on this thing is so gross, and it's funny because this is actually the first shiny that I hatched in Gen 8. I was so mad. I remember I was just like hatching Jangmos, and sure enough, one of them came up and it was like pink and yellow, and I was like, what the hell? And sure enough, I looked, and it's actually a perfect Jolly Jangmo, and I was just like, really? Why is this a thing? Like this, I was happy because I hatched a perfect shiny, but at the same time, it was just so depressing because I wish I could have hatched a shiny of something that I actually liked in terms of the color scheme. But whatever, can't complain about shinies. Got lucky. I mean, I've used the thing in like some single battles that I've done, whatnot. So yeah, just to get back into the set. So we got Como, Rock and Life Orb, Dragon Dance. So at +1, Como hits his team very hard, and outspeeds a lot of the team. If he is not Scarf Lele, then Como puts in a ton of work here. So if he's not Scarf Lele at +1, I outspeed, and the other things that like I don't outspeed, I'm still like generally living an attack from. So I think and I can bring up the calc, but the biggest thing, we already got Como up here. The biggest thing that I wouldn't be outspeeding that could potentially be a problem would be like Scarf Greninja. But as you can see, let's make this Torrent. Scarf Greninja, and we'll just go max, and we'll go modest too, just to show the cal. Like Scarf Greninja's 2-hitting Como. So if we're set up and he brings in Scarf Greninja, and even Specs Greninja, like Specs Greninja doesn't kill always, so it's another one of those things. I mean, in this case, we would just, if we knew that he wasn't Scarf, just click Close Combat and end Greninja. But yeah, so Greninja or Como looking very good against this team outside of Lele, and he does have triple psychic, but I with Mega Bennett and potentially Crocodile, I don't think he brings triple psychic. Like that would be crazy. I would be very surprised if that happens. Um, but you never know. So yeah, we got DD, Ice Punch, Close Combat, Shadow Claw. Again, coverage for most of the team. At +1, hits incredibly hard. If I somehow got to +2, it sweeps. um, barring Life Orb damage with priority. But again, if he has Lele, then like that's like doesn't really matter about the priority. So yeah, and we have enough speed investment to outspeed Jolly, Choice Scarf, Diggersby, just in case, because Diggersby hits incredibly hard, and that is very annoying. Uh, okay, so the last one on the team, and this slot was kind of a toss-up. It was originally Togekiss because I wanted to make sure that I got Hazards off the field, but honestly, looking at this matchup, like Hazards aren't as big of a deal for me. I think the biggest deal is getting like if we get our own hazards up, like that's sort of the biggest deal to me. And so I think that Crocodile, and shout out to Nintago, I was doing some mocks with him and we were going through it, and I had Togekiss, and Togekiss was good, but I think that Crocodile is better because it just helps tilt the calcs in my favor a little more, especially if rocks are up. Obviously, his best defogger is Gliscor, but I think if he has to defog, it kind of does take momentum away from him, especially when I have a lot of mons that can set up, and I also have a lot of mons that can... I mean, everything that I'm bringing outside of Crocodile gets water or ice coverage, so Gliscor is kind of not necessarily in a great spot if it has to defog. Like that's helping me, because I'm most likely being able to either set up or take them on, so or take, like, yeah, if it does get to the point where he's getting into rocks with Gliscor, then like I said, I get some free opportunity. So definitely want to keep an eye out for that. But team preview is going to be gonna tell me a lot here, because if he doesn't have a defogger, then I know he's just kind of trying to be like heads down and just kind of attack. Because looking at his team, his defoggers are, I think Dodrio gets defog, Armaldo gets rapid spin, so that could be an option, especially in the rain, and then Gliscor. So yeah, but let's get into the Crocodile really quick. I wanna actually show these calcs because they're pretty cool. So we got Steve Irwin, Crocodile. Originally, I was going to name it Tim Tebow. So if you see that in the calc, that's why. But I decided it's not a... Like, originally I was going to say screw it, I don't care, alligator, crocodile, but I wanted to be correct. So, Steve Irwin. And so, yeah, we're going with knockoff, Earthquake, Close Combat, Stealth Rocks. So the biggest thing that Crocodile's here to do is to set rocks, but it also gives me a pretty solid answer to the Magnezone. Magnezone was going to be a huge issue, and like if Magnezone's in on the Magnezone is in on the Crocodile, then like knockoff is kind of free. His switch-ins to Crocodile are Mega Sceptile. I mean, Diggersby doesn't necessarily want to lose its item. If Gliscor already has the Toxic Orb procced, then that's a switch in. But yeah, all in all, I don't think he wants to necessarily switch a lot of these mons in, especially like losing items could be bad for him. So yeah, but we're going with Intimidate, Crocodile, and we have enough... yeah, back to the calcs. So with this spread, we live a Specs Ice Beam, Uh, we also live a Specs Hydro Pump because of the Pasho Berry. And we'll just proc that just because. And then Water Shuriken. We also live a 5-hit Water Shuriken. So that's pretty clutch. And then the other thing I want to note is that Scarf. So if he gets the hits with Scarf Gren, yes, Hydro Pump does that, but we're actually living the Water Shuriken too. So that is also very nice to know. So then we could return Oko with close combat, or we go ahead and we set up rocks. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the biggest thing is going to just be figuring out what his sets are and kind of where he wants to go with the various things on his team. So yeah, this is going to be a very difficult match. Very good player. Have never played him before, but I mean, I've seen his replays and the dude is solid. So we'll see what happens. Bring you the game next. All right, so we are here with the Week 5 match versus Strawberry Milk. And looking at his team, it's kind of everything that was expected. In mocks, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Magnezone gave me huge problems, and that's why. That's another reason why I had taken Togekiss off the team and put the Crocodile on the team. So just looking at the team preview, I was thinking either lead Porygon or lead the Crocodile. And so with Porygon, I felt like Porygon was safer only because I did need Crook for the Magnezone, and leading Crook meant if he led Greninja or Infernape that I was basically, if he was Special Infernape, I don't think he would be Special Infernape just based on this team comp, but if he was Special Infernape, then yeah, there was no way I was thinking he was Special Infernape. But if he was Special, then he really did a number to Crook, and even after the Intimidate, if Infernape got a hit on Crook, it would not have been great. So was thinking, okay, need to make sure that Crook comes in on the Magnezone, and that we can get some chip on some things early and kind of go from there. Because just looking, like, the things that have recovery are Gliscor and Slowking, but Gliscor gets hit pretty hard by any of the water moves or any of the ice moves that we're carrying, so that wasn't really a huge problem. But yeah, let's jump into the game. So we've got the Porygon 2 lead from my side of the field. He leads Greninja, and I was kind of expecting a U-turn here, so I decided to go with Ice Beam. We get the crit, but not that it really matters. Greninja is super frail anyway. And he goes Magnezone. Let me just click Shadow Ball because it kind of hits everything. I didn't want to click Psychic on the off chance that he stayed. And this is where things really got interesting / took a turn not in our favor. The crit on the Crocodile was huge. I calced it, and after calcing this, I knew that he was not Specs. So I wasn't sure exactly what he was, but I knew he wasn't Specs. So that kind of led me to believe he could be Scarf. He's known to carry double Scarfers, and with the way that he played the Greninja, I thought that maybe that could have been Scarved as well, just because he Toxiced and then immediately switched out. So yeah, I think that this was definitely one of the turning points of the game, even on turn 3. That this put me in a spot where now, like, nothing really switches in well to Magnezone anymore, because if he's not Specs here, if he's not Choice Locked, or not Specs, if he's not Scarf here, then Jirachi does not take the Thunderbolts well, especially if he's max special attack modest. So I couldn't switch Jirachi in here because I need Jirachi for Lele. I couldn't. I guess maybe the better play would have been to double back into the Porygon 2 to potentially preserve the Crocodile, but at the same time I didn't see anywhere where I could have necessarily gotten the Crocodile in and been able to set up rocks. And at this point, like, rocks weren't a huge priority for me. It was more just making sure that we could get rid of the Magnezone. And so if we were faster, then he would, assuming that he's not Shuckleberry, he would go down to the Earthquake. So I figured my best play was probably to stay in and just do some scouting. But the crit was really unfortunate. And I think at the end of the game, we did find out that, or let's go. So here we find out he has Scarf. And then at the end of the game, we found out that he was Scarf Analytic. So, yeah, I mean, that turned the game for sure, but there's still a chance. Went into Como here, and I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of free setup. He's gonna either U-turn or hard switch, so go ahead and set up a Dragon Dance. And here, I wish I would have clicked Shadow Claw, because I think that would have been the best option. Because I think 2 Shadow Claws would have taken out the Slowking. I don't remember, but was kind of hoping here that he wasn't max defense, but unfortunately he was. So we actually lose Como here, which now things are really not looking good. But if I would have clicked the 2 Shadow Claws, then we would have been in a situation where I would have had 2 opportunities to crit, and I think it just would have been... He might have switched out after the first one, especially. So, I don't know. But you live and you learn. It's all good. So, now it's just a bit of back and forth. He can now Volt Switch pretty freely if he wants to. So, it's... Once Crook went down, and I mean, just looking at the team comp as a whole, electric types aren't great for us. The grass type we have is Gogoat currently, but Gogoat didn't have a great matchup here. Lele kind of just runs through it, and Fernape definitely runs through it. And so right here, I actually, expecting the switch, I almost clicked Psychic. And that would have helped, for sure. Because we still would have Porygon 2. And Porygon 2 was a nice defensive pivot in this game, and I think I just should have made the read. I went for the play that kind of, like the mid-ground play there, because Shadow Ball hit more things, and it's not resisted, or it's not immune. It's only resisted, like, because Greninja has immunity. And here's another big RNG moment in the game. We get the burn on the Slowking, and this is unfortunate because we have Toxic. So, was going to Toxic here, but can't now because that. So, just go ahead and click Seismic Toss. And he slacks off, which is the right play. So, at this point, I'm thinking, okay, we have a good amount of chip on the Magnezone. And if we can get some things in on switches or during rain turns, like, we have a chance. So let me try to move things around and see what we can do. So he goes ahead and he brings in, or I bring in Jirachi. He slacks off again, which makes sense because that was kind of free. And if we had the Toxic, that would have been so much better. And so now I'm thinking, all right, let's get the Politoed back in, and just trying to get some, like, positioning here. So he Thunder Waves, which is great because if he would have Thunder Waved the Kabutops, we would have just outright lost at that point. But I wanted to get Kabutops in off of the eject button to make sure that we got to optimize rain turns as much as possible. So I didn't really want to do that. Didn't really want to hard switch there, or U-turn it in there. So, especially not into a potential Psychic or anything of that nature. So he goes into Magnezone here, and we basically are just clicking Seismic Toss, just trying to get more chip, which is fine. And so back into Jirachi. And again, Volt Switch is so free for him. And yeah, so Thunderbolt definitely would have 2-hit KO if he wasn't Scarf earlier. So I think Jirachi was... like, saving Jirachi was definitely a good call. Yeah, I think the one I wish I had back was the Porygon 2 play. I almost clicked Psychic there. Ugh. It's never easy. And so we get parried there. He teleports. Which, it happens. And now we can live a hit from the Lele. So he goes for the Thunderbolt. Even Thunder we would have hit. We would have lived. And now we get Kabutops in, which is nice because Liquidation's doing a ton of damage. In hindsight, wish I would have set up there because we would have been in a better spot, but it's all good. There are definitely ways I could have played better. I think my mindset was just kind of so gone once the Crook went down. Once the Crook got crit, yeah, I definitely didn't play that as well. And so, yeah, I think if I could have those 2 turns back, I would have done that reverse, just to kind of go back really quick. I would have Swords Dance on turn 23. I would have Swords Danced, and then on turn 24, I would have either clicked Liquidation or Leech Life, because that would have either significantly chipped the Slowking, or it would have caught anything else on a hard switch in the rain. But yeah, so we sack Politoed here just to get as many turns of rain as possible, and go into Kabutops. And so now Kabutops comes in, and he goes into Slowking. Click Liquidation again, because it hits everything. And now just go ahead and click Leech Life. And so there's that. And I think he clicked Psychic. I think at this point I should continue to just click the Leech Life, but so we get rid of Slowking, and I think he goes into he goes into Magnezone here. So and he's just trying to stall turns. And here we should have clicked Leech Life. I knew that Liquidation into Aqua Jet killed, but getting the recovery would have been ideal. So, and he obviously wasn't expecting the Aqua Jet, but we get that off. But from here, Lele just cleans up. So, like, the combination of Lele or switching back into Infernape cleans up. But yeah, so this game was not lost on RNG. Like, he played incredibly well. He played incredibly careful, which is funny because typically he like, just looking at his replays, he's one of the more hyper offensive coaches in the league. But yeah, very good. He moves to 4-1. We move to 1-4. And overall, I think there were definitely plays that I could have made better. In hindsight, the Porygon 2 play, like, some of the moves that he made were fairly obvious, and I could have made some reads there. But yeah, so we moved to 1-4, and we still have playoff chances, but they're pretty slim. We're in a position where, for the most part, we have to win out, and the good thing is that we do play a couple of coaches going forward that are in the playoff picture. So by winning, it helps in 2 different ways, because it drops them in the standings, as well as it helps us gain ground on them in both differential and record. But yeah, so next week we get Clay. Clay is a very good coach. He is one of the people that we do, like, the TBA laddering sessions with. So yeah, if you liked the content, please like, subscribe, leave some comments. I'm more than happy to hear people's feedback. And we will catch you in the next video. Thank you very much. Peace.